What's going on, people? Chris Osberg here, Winding Road Magazine. Today I'm here with the Toyota Tundra SR5 TRD Off-Road Edition. Check this thing out. This truck is sweet. I'm totally digging on this kind of a desert sand NATO military color scheme. Looks pretty badass, if I do say so myself. We're going to go ahead and check this thing out. Nice bit of ground clearance here. The TRD off-road suspension package includes larger 18-inch off-road oriented wheel and tire package. We have the Bilstein off-road dampers, you can see in blue there. Various skid plates are underneath the chassis of the truck to help with off-roading protection. It is a full-size truck offering from Toyota to compete with the likes of the Chevy Silverado, F-150, and Dodge Ram. Just so everybody's clear, we've got a V8 under the hood. That's Toyota's iForce 5.7 liter V8 coming in at a potent 381 horsepower, 401 pound-feet of torque. Big, bold styling out of the Toyota. I think it's a pretty good-looking truck. We are going to go ahead and pop the hood and see what we got going on there. Let's see. Right there. There it is. Lots of room under the hood of these pickup trucks. Everything is relatively easily accessible. Easy to remove the sound deadening cover there. Nice plastic intake manifold. Big old air box. Mass airflow sensor integrated into the mouth of the air box there. Cool. Batteries easily accessible for replacement or jumping. But it's a Toyota, right? Nothing's ever going to go wrong with this thing. What else we got? Well, got a nice big bed here, factory plastic bed liner. The tailgate action is nicely damped, opens rather fluidly without a bump, but it's a long ways up. This is a big truck, and Toyota does not include a tailgate step feature, which honestly, I really love that about my F-150. Not a sissy, I'm happy to admit it, but when I'm loading stuff, namely bikes, cargo, whatever, in and out of the truck, it's really nice to have a step that comes down and gets me up into the tailgate, because these trucks are getting bigger and bigger with every generation. So kind of an oversight on Toyota's part. But other functionality is quite nice. Like I said, it's got the factory bed liner. It's got a rail or a sliding track system here for a number of accessories, including bike racks, cargo separators, etc., etc., etc. They offer tonneau covers. They offer all the truck stuff that guys love to put in their trucks to make them look cool and increase the functionality. Lots of room in this four-door configuration here, as you can see. As with everybody, the seats fold up nicely to give you lots of cargo room. It's quite a step up here, though, so you do lose out on a bit of carrying capacity. I know some of the other trucks are more flat when you fold the seats up, but definitely some good versatility here to haul stuff when you're not using it as a pickup. But one thing that you absolutely will notice, the doors are annoying to close, so they're kind of flimsy. I mean, I hate to say tinny, but that kind of is typical Toyota. The doors never have felt substantial on those, and when you close it, it's kind of flimsy, and sometimes you're gonna have to close it twice. I digress. Let's get up in the truck. Cockpit. Well, it's very truck-like. I think Toyota has done a good job of focusing on the things that are important, and it's a typical Toyota kind of flimsy key fob thing. Focusing on what's important to truck truck buyers, we have HVAC system. Very big knobs, very easy to operate the HVAC system, even when you have your work gloves on, as every pickup owner is going to have on 24/7 because they're man's men doing lots of burly, big man work. No automatic climate control on this SR5. This truck is not the bottom of the line trim level, but it's a pretty basic truck. But knobs are fine. One minor complaint I have about the system, though, is getting the right temperature out of it. There's this huge amount of swing just between the little clicks that you have here, so constantly kind of fighting between too hot and too cold. I think they could use a little bit more progressive change in temperature on there, but maybe it's just temperature that I'm dealing with this week while I'm reviewing the truck. Wow. First thing, very good thing that I notice is these Bilstein shocks they're Bilstein. They are awesome. The suspension on this truck is absolutely dialed. I have to say that's probably one of my favorite features is the compliance and the ride quality of this TRD suspension. So it does a fantastic job of taking the edge off of bumps. The small bump sensitivity is great without making it feel like a big wallowy sack of marshmallows. So very good balance between road comfort on these rough, choppy, I picked this gravel road on purpose, and not turning into a wallowy mess when you're actually trying to drive it on the road. So very cool. If you live in an area that has lots of rough roads, or you're driving rough roads on a frequent basis, boy, this is a strong, compelling way to or reason to check out the TRD Tundra. So I can't drive on a gravel road here without trying to hoon it up at least a little bit. So I'm going to turn off the stability control. Oh yeah, it'll kick the tail out. It'll let you turn everything off. So we see there's a little light on the dash that lights up. It says Auto LSD. What's that all about? Well, Toyota has not employed a mechanical limited slip on the Tundra. It has instead employed what is typical with many vehicles these days. It's a brake-based limited slip system that's going to take a wheel that's, leaving the ground or lacking traction. It's going to divert braking effort to the opposite wheel, which in turn will restore traction to the wheel that has traction. Yeah, let me try that again. What it does is, if you have a wheel that doesn't have traction, it's going to brake that wheel, which in turn is going to send torque to the wheel that should have traction. There we go. That's what the system does. In my opinion, usually they don't work as well as real mechanical lockers or limited slip type systems, but let's go ahead and see what this system wants to do. I could feel it working. Oh yeah. Feels like we'd be able to drive up that. If we were so inclined. But you do have to employ some throttle and some wheel spin to make that happen. As I said, I prefer fully mechanical locking systems. In any case, back to the performance. So I really like the suspension. So it's not, it's not something like a Raptor that you're going to go out and do crazy speeds, jumps and all that. I don't think Toyota's gone out and had that as a benchmark. Instead, it's a more reasonable, versatile setup that is great for everyday driving, reasonably priced, and does a fantastic job on rough surfaces and mild off-roading. Another thing, turn the headlights back off, but Toyota doesn't use any sort of illumination on their gauge cluster during the daytime hours, and it's starting to get dark, but even during the day you're really not getting much light in that cluster. So the shape of the dash and the color of the dash, it's very black, and it makes it hard to see gauges a lot of the time. So Toyota could either redesign that to let a little bit more light in, or utilize what many others do, including Toyota, is an illuminated dashboard setup even during daytime hours. So yeah, you can feel that open differential. But you know what? The iForce 5.7 liter V8 is pretty darn potent. So this truck has a lot of power. It feels really strong. On paper, not a whole lot more power than some of its competitors, you know, like the 5-liter Coyote in the F-150. But it really feels good. But, you know, to the point that they've kind of calibrated the throttle to be a little bit too sensitive, just to give that extra sensation of, hey, this is a fast truck. I think they've gone kind of overboard. So you can give it, this is probably 20% throttle, and it's gonna run it just about up to red line, because race truck. Personally, I think they should kind of tone that down a little bit, because certainly off-roading, you want to have some throttle sensitivity, some throttle progressiveness, so you're just not jumping all over the place. Yeah, let's take the opportunity. Let's see if this thing will do burnout with this auto LSD. Certainly it's got the power. Oh yeah. So 6-speed automatic transmission does a great job of the shifting duties. And what I do like is the stick has a manually shifting feature, and it actually has a plus minus like any other car does. So my F-150's got this goofy little rocker thing on the side of the stick to handle the manumatic shifting duties, and it's not very intuitive or usable. So I think this setup does a lot of good. If you're towing a trailer and you want to, you know, utilize that engine braking, go ahead, shift it over to the manual gate, and you've got full upshift and downshift controls at that point. Very cool. V8! Ah, ha, ha, ha. So interior on this thing is pretty Spartan, to be honest. This is the SR5 trim, as I said before. It's kind of a low-level trim. Add to it the off-road package and a few other options, and you're at $45,000 for this truck. So it's not a cheap truck, but it is a pretty basic truck. And you know what? That does appeal to a considerable amount of truck buyers out there that want a truck that satisfies their needs without lots of frills or complications or extra things to repair down the road. And this truck is right up that alley. So no navigation, no leather seats, no heated seats, no doodads, no fanciness. It's a pretty basic truck. But you know what? If you're gonna go that route, I would kind of prefer a manual transfer case over this electronic shifting action they've got going on here. And as I said before, I would prefer a mechanical limited slip differential or locker type setup. But if you like basic trucks, there's a lot good to say about the Toyota. On-road characteristics are pretty good. One thing I don't like is the brake feel. So Toyota has always touted their 4-piston calipers and oversized braking setup as, you know, being a real heavy-duty braking system on the Tundra. And yes, that's true, but you know what? The brake feel isn't that good. They're very strong. Don't get me wrong. They're going to stop the truck in a hurry, but they're quite spongy, and modulating them isn't the easiest task in the world. So brake feel could definitely be improved. Go ahead and switch these headlights back on so you can actually see the dash. Audio system, for a base audio system, is actually pretty darn good. I'm happy with the sound quality and the volume. gauges. There you go. Not much to it. Legible. Have a kind of a center display that tells you a couple things like how much fuel I'm using. 13.2 sounds about right. Distance to empty. No redundant speedometer, which would be kind of nice, but overall, pretty good setup. That brings up another point. Stability control, our traction control system. It's extremely intrusive. So we've got everything turned back on at this point. I'm going to go ahead and light up the tire over the gravel. And the system really cuts power, and it cuts power for a long time, long after you've regained traction. Even going over bumps, you can see it kick back on. That's annoying. So I do not like the way the traction control system is calibrated on this truck. It seems to interfere very early, and it takes a long time for the system to recover and give you your power back. So yeah, I was kind of goofing around there, but I guarantee you driving this truck, you'll come into a situation where you try to gas it and get onto a road or do a quick maneuver, do something quickly, and the truck just cuts all your power, and you're just gonna go, let me go, and it's not gonna go much of anywhere. So keep that in mind. Either, drive around it, or maybe be one of those guys that turns it off most of the time. It's kind of the route I'd go. But compared to other trucks in the segment, it's a little bit over-intrusive. I like that transmission. It's very snappy. So I said before, the powertrain is kind of calibrated to be a little bit more too enthusiastic, too sensitive. And my F-150 is actually on the other side of that spectrum. I got the 5-liter V8 in mine, and it's kind of dead in comparison. So something kind of in the middle would be just about perfect. But you know what? I guess if I had to choose, I'd probably take the Toyota oversensitive over the overly lethargic throttle response I get out of my F-150. It's a darn good powertrain. There aren't too many complaints about it. Interesting. Traction control squealed. Show you again. So let's say you're leaving here, you want to turn right, you're going to give it a little bit of gas. Oh, but the tire spin. Now you're just going to sit here, and it's finally going to go. Take a corner swiftly. Whoa, those off-road tires howl. Okay, so these are no BFG TA KOs. So in my personal opinion, I think the TA KOs and KO2s are the best off-road tire you can get for a general use truck, because they offer great on-road performance, great off-road performance under many conditions, great snow performance. I'd probably put a set of those if I had one of these trucks, because I think it's the best all-around tire out there. Rides so well, you're going to purposely put yourself in situations to run over bumps just to see how well it absorbs them. I did that in the Raptor too. And the handling, the turn-in is pretty slow and mushy, but handling's quite good. So in addition to the Bilstein dampers, they also have TRD stabilizer bars. And I really think they've nailed the suspension calibration on this truck for general use. You know, it gives you great comfort, great bump absorption without getting too floppy. Let's go ahead and do another 0 to 60 run, just because it's kind of fun in this thing. All right, ready? It's got to be around 6-second flat, which no slouch for a full-size pickup. Refinement, it's not the most refined truck other than the ride. Exhaust gives you a little bit of droning at low RPM. Road noise is it's okay. It's not great, but some of the other trucks in this segment are a little bit more refined than this particular test vehicle is. I have not driven, let's say, a platinum trim, a super high-end Tundra yet to get an impression of how that feels, but this particular SR5 with the off-road package, it's a truck, and some people, you know, they're cool with that. If that's the kind of truck you're looking for, you don't mind a little bit of noise and vibration and harshness. So bottom line, what do I think of the Toyota Tundra TRD off-road package in the SR5 trim? Well, I think it's a pretty specific guy that's going to be going for this particular truck. It's a guy that is looking for a basic truck, a guy that wants something that's going to be durable, reliable, ready to tackle rough roads if they, you know, live on a gravel road or can drive out in the country quite a bit or get out in the woods. But doesn't want a lot of frills. And the other virtues that Toyota, you know, you're paying for is high resale value, Toyota reliability, because the build quality is not, I mean, the interior is kind of Spartan. There's some parts about it that feel cheap. The doors feel kind of flimsy. It's not a truck that you feel like you're getting, you know, a lot for your money for. So other trucks in this segment, you are going to be getting a little bit more upscale truck for the same price point. So you really have to want what this truck is offering. But what it does offer is pretty darn good at. So suspension and reliability and durability, Toyota's known for it, and I have no question that this truck is going to serve the right buyer very well in the long term. Who is this truck not for? Well, there's a few quirks. If you're really the kind of guy that just wants a truck and you're going to be daily driving it most of the time, and you're you're interested in, let's say, nice features, luxury features, this is not the truck I would be recommending at that point. Some of the other trucks, namely the F-150 or the Silverado or the Ram, are going to be a little bit nicer in that respect. But overall, it's a pretty cool truck. Definitely respect what Toyota has done with it. I do like the powertrain. I like the suspension, and wish I had more time to really take this thing off-road and see how it handles. The ELSD or the Auto LSD seems to work okay. You know, you got to give it a little bit of gas and get some wheel spin for it to be effective. So maybe I'll have an opportunity at some point to take one of these out on some off-road trails and really put it through the paces. There we go. Typical Toyota, they won't let me turn off the traction control unless I'm at a complete stop. That's kind of annoying. So there are some quirks with this truck, right? Like I said, the throttle is a little bit too sensitive. The doors are kind of flimsy. You gotta do that to get the stability control to work. But it does let you hoon, at least. Oh, no, it's shutting down the fun. So, it's not the Hoonigan mobile. You're not going to be whipping some massive drifts with this thing at high speeds like you would maybe a Raptor or some of the other trucks. So, you got to decide what's important to you. And I think Toyota's got a good formula with this truck. And I think they will be finding buyers as they've done a good job of penetrating the domestic market, which is no easy act to follow. So anyway, cool truck. This is Chris Osberg, Winding Road. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the reviews. If you're into what you see, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and we'll come back at you with more test drives, more reviews, more videos, more hoonage, more of all the things that are fun behind the wheel. So, oh, we've got a puddle here. Yeah, we're going to have to hit that just because, you know, that's what trucks do. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll come back at you soon. Have a good one. See ya.